I just want to echo Albert and say thank you for inviting me here. I'm really pleased to be able to share with you the pro-life position because I think it's a truly positive one for individuals, families, communities, society at large. So our debate title is looking at, it's trying to say that it's always morally permissible for a woman to choose to have an abortion. So that's another way of saying that abortion on demand up till birth is morally permissible. Any reason is valid, and in fact, there's no need to justify the choice. I think it's probably fairly easy for me to find reasons for having an abortion that would make many people, even if they're pro-choice, uncomfortable. So a lot of people aren't comfortable with the idea of having an abortion because of the gender of the child, or if I didn't want stretch marks, so I had an abortion, or I had cosmetic surgery and the pregnancy was going to mess that up for me. I think most people would think those are sort of trivial reasons that wouldn't really justify an abortion. So the reason for the choice seems morally relevant to most of us. We have a sense that there's a certain gravity about abortion, which means that it shouldn't be undertaken for a trivial reason. You know, that's why abortion often seems more palatable, and I think Anne says this in her book, when it's presented as sort of hard but necessary, a choice that no one really wants to make. That's why you hear the phrase, you know, I'm not pro-abortion, I'm pro-choice. But if abortion is good or does something good, there shouldn't be anything wrong with being pro-abortion. If abortion helps women, shouldn't we all be pro-abortion? But do you really think that abortion is a good thing? A lot of people think, like I said, it's a necessary evil, but then it's still an evil, and is it really the best that we can do? So why am I, a young woman in the 21st century, pro-life? Why do I think that abortion is the biggest human rights violation of our time? So I start with the basics. So during pregnancy, what is in the womb is a human being. So it's a member of the Homo sapiens species, as we established. You know, no pregnant woman has ever given birth to a giraffe. So it's undeniable, it's a not controversial fact. What is pregnancy then? Well, pregnancy begins at the moment of fertilization and describes the period of time during which this growing human being is in the womb. So before fertilization, you had sperm from the man with his DNA, egg from the woman, her DNA. They combine, they create a unique individual separate from both the mother and father. Before fertilization, there was nothing. Now there's something. And that something is neither part of the mother or father. It's distinct, it's whole, it's living, it's growing, and it's human. What is abortion then? Abortion is the process of intentionally ending the life of this living human being. For abortion to be morally permissible, then this human life growing inside a woman must have less moral value. And as Alberto said, there tend to be two main threads of argument for why this is the case. So one, let's say, from bodily autonomy and one, personhood. So we take the argument from personhood. The qualities that are often used to define personhood, like Alberto said, value, the value that you can give to your life, are varied. But the common point is that they can't really be applied consistently without you justifying killing lots more people than the fetus or the unborn child. You know, so you might say the fetus doesn't have full cognitive ability, so we can terminate it. I don't think a newborn does either. Well, the fetus isn't self-aware, we can end its life. Again, is a newborn self-aware? No. The fetus can't exist independently, neither can a newborn. The fetus can't feel pain, so its life can be terminated. If I'm under general anaesthetic, I don't think it's okay for you to kill me, and I hope you don't think so either. The fetus cannot make moral decisions. Neither can a young child or some people with certain cognitive disabilities. Any of these characteristics which are used to justify abortion can be used to justify killing off large swathes of the population. If you believe in equality, I want you to ask yourself what shared characteristic makes us equal. The only thing that we all share is that we're members of the human family. After that, we are wonderfully different. And equality cannot be based on anything other than this universal fact. If you truly believe that all humans are equal, it must be by virtue of their being human. And this has to apply to the child in the womb too. But what about the argument from bodily autonomy? Well, we've already established that this growing human being is not a part of the woman's body. It's inside her, but it's not a part of her like a limb. There are two bodies to consider. And actually, surprisingly, we recognise this in a number of cases. Like I saw a cigarette packet the other day that said, smoking can kill your unborn child. Or if a pregnant woman is assaulted and miscarries, you get a more serious sentence because you recognise the value of the life inside her. You know, unless the process of being born, moving from inside the womb to outside, suddenly gives you moral status, it's unclear why a human being's location should determine if its life can be ended. So I believe that both those threads of argument are unconvincing and unacceptable because they arbitrarily decide who is and who is not worthy of life. You know, women have been used to being told that their bodies are commodities which can be treated as such. And how as women can we champion abortion as liberation when the cost of it is another person's body? Abortion has granted women dominion over the independent lives of their physically dependent children. Abortion has said that the stronger human is more valuable, and it has pitted women against their children and said that true freedom for women is when they can make their bodies like men. Why do we want to accept this? So returning to the debate title, I don't think it's morally permissible to have an abortion, but I do think that the reason a woman seeks an abortion is important, because it tells us where we are failing as a society. It shows us where we need to be offering long-term support to women and children to create real communities where challenges are faced together. If someone is seeking an abortion because they're in an abusive relationship, this must be addressed. If they're in debt, this must be addressed. The other day I was told about a woman who is seeking an abortion because her community will reject her if they know she has become pregnant before she's married. That is an injustice that must be addressed. Do you think that a woman should feel compelled to have an abortion because she can't feed herself and her family? Or she should feel compelled to have an abortion to finish her studies? Do you think that abortion solves any of these underlying problems? I do not. And in a society that accepts abortion as necessary, we're being sold short. Injustices are not being rooted out and communities of support are breaking down, precisely when we need to be building them up. I know of a family who have taken in a 16-year-old girl from Hungary. She got pregnant when she came to the UK and her mother forced her to have an abortion. She got pregnant again shortly after and refused to have an abortion, so her mother cast her out. Now at 16, she is living with this family for the foreseeable future. That is real support. You know, why when she went for that abortion was it not discovered that she did not want it and that she was being pressured? She was failed then, and thankfully this family are not failing her now. I believe in human rights, including, obviously, the right to life. I do not believe that our basic human rights depend on anything other than the fact that we are human beings. So your value as a person does not depend on your size. It doesn't depend on your ability to care for yourself, on your gender, on your job. Your worth does not alter no matter what anyone else thinks of you. In fact, no matter what you think of yourself, if you don't think you have value, you do. Each person is important, worthy of love, and their life has value. I believe in the dignity of every human person, no matter how weak or strong, young or old, useful or just downright inconvenient. Nobody is a nobody. Life matters. Your life matters. When we as individuals and society start to value others depending on their utility, their perceived value, the burden that they might place on us, we dehumanize them. And by dehumanizing them, we justify to ourselves why we can dispose of them. This is what abortion does. It's because of this that I believe abortion is wrong and I reject this motion.